Alright, Pickle Peeps, let's rock. In today's episode, Joe and Reese revisit their conversation about animals and chat about the new pickle and bootleg chicken seasoning. The guys sing the praises of episode 97.28, before finishing off the conversation about Flammy Grant and the American church. The Pickle and Boot Shop, you probably do hate it.
Joe and Reese, Pickle and Boot Shop. Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joe and Reese, Pickle and Boot Shop. Pickle time is happening. Pickle time. I go down to get some pickles.
With your grandma and your kids.
I go downtown.
With your grandma and your kids.
Boot time. Pickle and boot time. Don't be fickle, get your pickle cider, pop a nickel in your boots. Not a place of ill repute. Bring your grandma and your kids. Come for the pickles, stay for the squids.
Pickle and boot shop.
Stay for the squids.
Yeah, pickle time.
Put that pickle in your pants. Get some boots inside your hands. Put that pickle in your pants. Get some boots inside your hands.
1996, we start this.
I saw some video footage of one of the shows you guys did, and you were dancing like Fred Astaire.
I was.
Yeah, you
I
were
know.
you were really cutting a rug there on the old Five Iron Frenzy show.
The only one I've seen is me. I point at my two children who are in the front row, and then I start dancing as spastically as possible, and then I fall on the ground and I try to run in a circle while I'm on the ground.
I saw that one too.
And
You know,
then I got up and I was dizzy and I almost fell off the stage.
I call that the old like Three Stooges.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Curly do that?
Yeah.
He would like run in a circle on the ground.
Yes. It's a real good move, except nobody can see what you're doing.
Yeah, it looks like you're struggling to get up.
Yeah.
If you don't know
Like,
the
he's
move,
been down on the ground a long time.
Yeah.
The four people in front are like, that's power. That's
Yeah.
a power move, man. That guy
in the
knows.
same sense, if you don't know what breakdancing is, and you
Mhm.
see someone breakdancing, you might think they're fighting a ghost.
Yeah. Maybe they are.
I mean, they could. I just assume they're breakdancing. Maybe it's been the opposite all these years.
Maybe
Maybe
they're
people
like,
have been fighting ghosts, and I'm like, oh, that guy's breakdancing, and that guy's just screaming for help.
yeah. Or maybe
He's
a
just
guy
being
in
attacked.
modern times is like, why did she leave me? Where's
Yeah.
my Fiero? And he's fighting that ghost.
Yeah, he's got his boom box up on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Playing
my
some
Fiero?
sort of LL Cool J,
And
and
ladies love Cool J.
and I'm thinking he's dancing, breakdancing, and it's really he's fighting a poltergeist.
Right. Right. You know, there's a lot of kind of geists besides the polter.
Like,
You know,
the
we never
zeit-
talk about those. Yeah, Zeit. There's a zeitgeist.
What is zeitgeist?
It's like the spirit of the times. But really in German it means time ghost, which is how Germans talk. Like everything is haunted and they're
I
morose.
can't really do a German accent. The zeitgeist of the times.
The German people love the zeitgeists.
The German people love the zeitgeist.
Sie müssen ein Zeitgeist in die Scheiße machen.
Dumm Bleistift ist kaputt.
What's up, dude? What are you
Nothing.
doing? What are you up to?
Nothing. I've had a couple of days off. I got tomorrow off, and then
What?
yeah.
Because you're doing 312s?
Well, get this. Get this. Things have hit the fan,
Oh, no.
and
Are you on suspension?
no. So
Okay.
things have hit the fan. This week I work Wednesday and Thursday, 12-hour shifts.
Yep.
Then I'm off the weekend.
Mhm.
I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then starting on Monday, I work 12 hours Monday, 12 hours Tuesday, 12 hours Wednesday.
312s.
16 hours on Friday, 17 hours on Saturday, and 12 hours on Sunday. I work 81 hours next week. So
Are
I'm
they-
not really looking forward to time moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, 81
Why?
hours. It'll
Who
be-
did your schedule?
Well, here's the problem. In this little town that I live in called
Uh-huh.
Royal Oak,
Uh,
Royal Oak is taken over by a business fella who brings all the, since Royal Oak's like the hip town to be in,
yeah.
this guy brings all these like festivals here.
Okay.
And so the summer is just packed with all these festivals. One of the things, this guy doesn't bring it in, but it's Royal Oak is like a big, it's just a town where everyone wants to be. So there's all these things here throughout the summer. And one of them, it's called Dream Cruise. It's called Woodward Dream Cruise.
Oh yeah. It's
So-
where the cars come.
Yes. Yep. So you're familiar with it.
You
So-
talked about it last year.
Yeah.
What
So
is
it's
it called? What's that segment of time called?
a year,
300 a year. Thank you.
a rotation, an orbit.
This is why people are so confused being my friend. I'll be like, every January 1st, I'll be like, I'll see you next week. And they're like, you mean see you next year? But then I keep saying it. Really confusing. Anyway, go
And
ahead.
then you look at your watch.
Hey, have you seen my watch? It fell out. It's over there when I was lifting the 4,000-pound TV.
Oh, at least you know where it is. I thought
I
you're just
don't.
wearing
I'm
like
surmising.
the watch band.
I believe it is over there somewhere. It
Yeah.
could be in the wall. I put a speaker up over there, and it could be in the speaker hole.
Oh.
Yeah, no biggie. No biggie.
Yeah. So anyway, that Dream Cruise is messing with me. So, working the summer here in Royal Oak, working for the city sucks because of all these festivals and things that we have to work for. I got to be roofing. I got to be on duty roofing. So it makes it so, toward the end of the summer, you're trying to get in like last vacations, last kind of getaways and stuff like that with your family. And it makes
Yeah.
it so you can't.
Hey, when does school start for your kids?
August 28th.
Jeez, that sounds reasonable. My kids, 2 days. It starts August 9th. What kind of
Whoa.
fascist regime are they running there in Stanton?
Here's the thing in Michigan, they passed a law here in Michigan that all public schools have to start after Labor Day.
Oh,
However, if you can apply through your county's school district, like the county school system, for your district to get a waiver to start early. So
Mhm.
the year that they passed this law, like, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. And then everybody just puts in for the waiver and they grant it to everybody. So like Ella, who goes to university, because it's a public university, like she starts after Labor Day.
I like how you said that like a European. She goes to university
Yeah.
instead of my daughter's in college, like the rest of us common folks say.
Oh.
It's
See,
really
I-
impressive, Joe.
Well, here I think my brain, like if you're in community college, I think I call it college.
Yeah.
And
But
then if you
then-
go to a university, I think I call it university.
You go to university.
Yeah. Although
Huh.
no, that's not correct either, because I would say like my favorite college team is Notre Dame or
Uh-huh.
Michigan State, So I don't know. Maybe when it's someone is attending college or someone is attending university, because if somebody was attending Notre Dame, I would say, yeah, they go to like they're going to university.
They go to university.
They go to university, yeah. They study artwork. They study Faberge eggs.
Faberge. They study boulangerie.
Why do Russians put a premium on Faberge eggs?
I think because they make them. They're beautiful, and it's like a heritage thing.
Is a
You're like, why
Faberge
do
egg
we-
like a real egg?
No, I think it's like a jewel encrusted orb.
Okay, so there's not a real egg underneath there.
No, but I bet if you could afford a Faberge egg, you could probably ask for a real egg inside.
What is Faberge? What does that mean?
I don't even know. Maybe
Is there
it's
an
like a
art of
proper noun.
Faberge? Because like I think like paper mache. Is it like
Yeah.
Faberge paper mache?
Somebody write in and tell us.
Somebody.
It's like
yeah.
anybody want a paper mache egg too? Joe is volunteering to make some.
Now, here's something. I remember when we were younger, I remember my sister at Sunday school, like on Easter Sunday, she did like a sugar egg. Did you ever do that? She did
No.
an egg that was like completely made of like, it was almost like you soaked a bunch of sugar. So where the sugar became like sand.
Yeah.
And then you like made an egg. And inside it was like a little diorama. Like inside the egg, there was like a little Easter scene. But then the egg was like made of sugar. Like you could then eat the egg.
Did you eat it?
I didn't. It was my sister's, but I was always tempted
There was an
to.
Easter diorama in it.
I've had Easter diorama before from ham.
Yeah, I had that too.
Oh, speaking of ham, guess what I
From
bought?
deviled eggs. Speaking of ham, while we're on the subject,
Guess
what?
what I bought?
Hmm?
A half a hog.
Did you really?
I believe it's a Berkshire hog. My buddy raises them, and it's supposed to be like the top of the line. It's like Wagyu hog.
Wagyu.
So you know how like when you go to a grocery store and you buy like pork chops, they're like these like pinky, almost white chops.
Mhm.
This, the meat is like red, and it's got intermuscular fat like a Wagyu steak.
Okay.
But it's pig.
How do
So
they
I-
make it so good? They just feed it nice things.
it's
like
the-
instead of
it's
feeding
the-
it trash.
Yeah, like the breed of pigs that they just mass produce for the masses.
Like me.
Yeah, like from what I've been told, like the flavor and the color, like the quality is bred out of them.
Uh-huh.
And so select farmers like decide, hey, I'm gonna make, like same thing with like Wagyu beef.
Yeah.
Those steers, those cows, whatever they're called, that are slaughtered.
I have no idea what Wagyu beef is. It just sounds
You don't know
tasty
what-
and fancy.
You don't
I know it's
Wagyu?
I know it's fancy beef that people are into. That's all I
Yes.
know.
Yeah, so like the beef is like crazy. Like if you look at a steak, it looks like it's got like spider webs in it because that's
Mhm.
all the intermuscular fat, which
Yeah.
is the flavor. Like the flavor isn't that big, thick rind of fat on the outside of a steak. It's all the stuff within the tissue. So Wagyu is like that. And if you can find like an Wagyu, I forget what it's called, like an A5 or something like that, it's bananas.
Okay.
I've never had it, but this hog, I believe it's a Berkshire, but I could be wrong. I'll ask
Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
so I went in and got half of it. And so today I got all my meat. So it cost me a ton of money, but I have pork for 6 months, and I got all this stuff. But you want to know one of the things that I got? The jowls. As part of my package, I got smoked jowls. Smoked,
But that's a good
cheeks.
part.
I mean, it's part, right? They nothing
How
goes
much-
to waste.
I want to know how much a half of a hog is.
$500
How much?
bucks.
$500.
Yeah.
I bought a quarter of a cow. It was $750.
Oh my gosh. I bought an eighth of a cow. My sister bought an eighth of a cow. So we bought a quarter of a cow. And it was $250 each.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we got for
an
five.
eighth. So I overpaid.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if you overpay because I don't know the quality. We got up here in Michigan, like we got a really good quality because again, it's my friend who's a farmer.
Yeah.
It was his neighbor's cow that we got butchered. And so it's kind of a friend price as well. So we got a quarter of a cow for $500. For a half a hog, it cost me $500.
That's a pretty good deal, dude.
Yeah.
I know the guy that grew the cow. It was my nephew, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'll charge you a regular price."
Yeah.
He's like, "I don't like your ex-wife." I'm like, "You know what? Never
Yeah.
mind." That's what I said.
Yeah,
I said,
there's all
"Fine,
like
I'll just
little
pay the
tips and
$750."
tricks, like there's hanging weight. There's the weight. So like what'll happen is like they'll weigh the pig. So like let's just say to make everything easy,
Yeah.
let's say they weigh the pig and it's 500 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's 500 pounds with all the organs in it and stuff and the fat.
Yeah.
But then once they gut it and then they start cutting out and like if you have like a pork roast
Mm-hmm.
and the chunk of meat is like the size of a cinder block, but there's 8 inches of fat around it. Like you don't want to have to pay for that fat because you're just going to cut that off. So there's like weight and then there's hanging weight. And hanging weight is kind of like after everything's kind of been removed, the meat that's hanging on the scale. So always make sure you go by like a good poundage of hanging weight.
Hanging weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um.
Man, this has
Ladies,
got to
pay
be
no attention to
fascinating for
this.
people listening.
Yeah.
Now, I do
Hey.
have to say this. The pickle
Hey,
and
everybody!
bootleg shop.
Welcome back. The
The
pickle
pickle
and bootleg shop.
Did you
Our good
see?
friend Ken and Brennan.
Yeah, did you see that they're making seasoning?
Did I see it, or do I have some in my possession?
Oh, he said
Yeah.
he's sending me some. So you actually
he-
got some?
Yeah, he handed it to me. My good
Oh.
friend Kevin.
What's
He
it
just
called?
like,
Get it?
whoop.
Get out of my yard and give me my chicken seasoning.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I got it, and I don't know what to do with it. He's like, just put it on your chicken. And I was like, whoosh, above my
Yeah.
head.
This
I'll
is what
cook-
you want to do.
Last time I cooked the chicken, I made my kids cry.
Get skinless, boneless thighs.
Mm-hmm.
Take your thighs, put them in a bowl, olive oil, salt and pepper, and then that seasoning. Just give it a good coating. Let it sit for about a half hour on the counter. Kind of come up to room temp.
Put that stuff on it. Then what
Olive
do you
oil.
do? Bake it?
Olive
Put it
oil,
on the
salt,
grill.
pepper, and then put it on the grill.
Mm-hmm.
And get the grill nice and hot. Start it up. Let it get hot. Do you have a propane grill?
Yes, I do.
So turn it to medium heat for 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, put your chicken on it. Do you temp your meat?
No.
Okay. Because
Is
you
this
want to.
something you should do? I like turn it off when it catches on fire.
Yeah, that's.
Is
Yeah,
that
you
how
should
to
probably
do
get
it?
a thermometer. Get a thermopen.
This
'Cause
is
then you
the
can't go
third
wrong.
grill I've had because the other two I caught on fire.
Yeah, so the reason they're catching on fire is because the grease is catching on fire. So you need to clean your grill.
No, because that's where the flavor is, Joe. I don't know if you know anything about grilling, but you leave that on there.
Yeah.
That's the flavor.
Yeah.
People might say that that's a carcinogen. I'm going to argue who wants to be 100? I don't. I'm going to eat a really greasy, dirty steak that has all the flavor from last time.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah, there is a little something to what you say. The drippings,
Oh,
when the
well, there
drippings
it is. I'm not just talking out of my ass.
no, when the drippings hit
Uh-huh.
like Weber calls it a flavorizer. And it's kind of
Mhm.
like a piece of metal that's like kind of like a triangle, like a roof above the flame. So when your drippings hit that, it creates like a little bit of steam. And so people think that infuses into the meat, but once it's steamed off, it still collects on that burner, like the crusty stuff on the burner. So you got to scrape that off.
Off the
'Cause then-
burner.
Yeah.
With
like,
what? Your hands?
No, like, you know how like
ain't
if you
got
have like
time
a
for that.
wire grill brush? So you have like the
I
wire
don't.
brush, and then there's usually almost like a little razor, like scraper thing at the end of it.
Yeah, I've seen those in the store. So I should get one.
Yeah. So you,
Okay.
after every time you fire up your grill and you let it for 10
Every
minutes.
time?
Yeah.
No way. It's not
So-
worth it. I'll just go buy a new grill after this one catches on fire.
You turn your grill on for 10 minutes, let it get hot. Then when it's hot, you scrape the grate. And then prior to that, before it's hot, you lift up your grates and then use that scraper thing and scrape off those, like the covers on the burners.
Yeah.
Because that's what's catching fire.
Well, what I like to call that is the numblins. That's the
Yeah.
numblins catching fire.
Yeah, so
That's the
scrape
good
the
part.
numblins. And then you
You
also
know when
got
you go to Long John
everything.
Silver's and there's all that little brown chunky stuff they throw in there at the bottom? That's the numblins. But that's also in my grill. I don't want to get rid of the numblins. I love them. It's so good. You're like finished, but you're like, I don't feel like I can still feel the edge of my fingers. I feel like my circulation's still too good. And then you eat them up. You just eat the numblins out of the bottom of the package, and then you finally feel like I have achieved the highest level of cholesterol. I won at cholesterol, and then
Yeah.
you feel your fingers going numb.
Yeah,
That's how you know.
I completely closed off the Widowmaker.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
numblins, guys.
yeah.
Trust me.
When
I'm a
all day
doctor.
long you hear a whistling because it's the blood trying to get through your jugular. just all day. You think it's white noise. You just hear. It's like when you squeeze the end of a balloon and you like pinch the end of the balloon. That's the blood trying to get through your jugular after eating the numblings.
Oh, the numblins. Oh
Do
man,
you like how I use like the King's language? I said
the
the numblings.
numblings. Yeah, that's how they
You were
used to
like,
call it.
damn numblings. And I was like, yes, the numblings.
I hear you. That's why you say university as well, Joe.
Because we're very woke. Something just popped in my head. Because we're very woke on this
Yep.
show.
Yep.
Guess who I just learned of and I am excited to see at Furnace Fest?
Whom?
Have
Did you hear
you
that?
heard of this hardcore band called Zulu?
No.
A hardcore band called Zulu, and it's an all black hardcore band.
Yeah.
Like Bad Brains,
Yeah.
but
But
hardcore.
hardcore?
And
That's
they
sweet.
are good. So if you like hardcore, check out Zulu. I just heard of them just a couple of days ago, and they're going to be at Furnace Fest this year.
Yeah.
So
I want to check them out. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm going to make this to Furnace Fest.
No.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Still thinking about it.
Yeah.
But now it's getting close to it, and I'm
I
like,
think Leonore's
oh.
going.
mm-hmm.
Leonore asked, she's like, hey, can I play sax on a song? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. But like, I don't know what she's practicing. She can just get up there and like mime it if she wanted
Yeah.
to.
Just tell the sound guy to cut it off. And then she
Yeah.
can just pretend.
I'll just go over and boot the microphone that she's
Yeah.
trying to play into and push her
Yeah.
off the stage.
Don't push her off stage.
I'll push her off the stage and say, that's for Reese. You had it coming.
Okay. That's a good idea.
I got the hair back on. I got the
Yeah.
piece.
That's good, Joe.
The
Do you
rug-
wear that? You wear that at work or what?
Sometimes.
You should.
I think I
You
have
really
a very, I said it last time, I think I have a very David Koreshian vibe.
With that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, I
definitely
hope
with those
with this,
glasses.
I hope my normal everyday life isn't.
No, normally you look
Koresh.
like a white supremacist, but with this, you look David Koreshian.
Yeah.
It's a step up, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You like it?
Yeah. Very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. You know, it
Uh,
just harkens me back to a simpler time.
It does.
A simpler time when I had hair, when I had a mullet, I
Mhm.
had the sides shaved, I had the top just feathered, just so beautifully feathered. When it first got cut, it was like a spike, and then after a few days or weeks, it would just be a nice coiffed. It would be like a nice coif that I would feather back with mousse.
Joe, if a skullet, if that became like the fad skullets,
Yeah.
like all the high school kids and all the baseball players were like skullets, like they'd
Yeah.
shave on top and then long.
Yeah.
It would just be a ring around and then long hair. Would you do it?
I would need money.
Yeah.
Like
I'd
I
pay
would
it.
need if it was like, hey, you need to
I'll
grow
start a
skullet.
Kickstarter right now.
Yeah, you need to grow a skullet down to your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I would need $1,000 because that
What do you think about growing out long hair down at the roofer force?
I don't think I could.
It's not in the dress code. They're like nope. You
I
can
just
only grow a
can't
mustache
in beard.
or a beard.
Yeah.
They accepted
You're-
beards now.
Yeah, that's why I have a beard, dude.
Oh,
Or you think that I just grow this like in a day?
that's what I thought.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah. Hey, speaking of which,
Yeah.
you said you hate animals.
So our discussion.
Are we going to talk about this?
Yeah.
What
so
was that?
I loved our discussion that we had on the last podcast. I started doing some studying on crows,
Mm-hmm.
and Reese, I hate to
And I
break
was
it to
wrong.
you, you were wrong.
What?
Crows only
I'm not.
mimic. They only mimic. They don't learn speech. They only mimic.
No, I'm not. I'm not making this up. There are accounts of people that have taught crows like up to 100 vocabulary words, and they use them. They use them to communicate.
Okay, so
So
here's
normally, I think they do. That was bad. Yeah, there's just chips sitting here. Okay.
Yeah, Pringles. Oh my gosh, half of it just fell in your lap. So anyway, from the discussion, I have found that people get the most angry about our
animals?
podcast when we deal with animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mousetrap, forget it. People wanted us strung up by our ankles after
Not
talking
us.
about mousetraps.
I love mice. I try and save them. I catch them and I take them to the edge of the forest and I set
And
them
then-
free.
and then
I build
on
a
this-
habitat for them.
And then on this week's show, I want to
Mhm.
say, is it William Thatcher?
William Thatcher.
Is that who? Let me check here. William Thatcher. His post, he said, great convo on animals being sentient and having souls. Wholeheartedly agree with Reese for once. That means he usually agrees with me. What a great dude. And then he
Okay,
said,
you get 1 point, William.
yeah, but here's where then it goes downhill. He says Joe needs to educate himself on this topic. So I
True.
said, how so?
How do I do it?
And let me read you Mr. William Thatcher's response to me.
Mm-hmm.
He says, now, you know me, right? So you know me. You know I have animals.
I know
you know
you.
I have a dog that I absolutely love. He's my little boy.
You kind of
Sit-
accept chow mein.
Yep. I kind of accept chow mein as a stepchild.
Your sister has a dead mummified baby on the wall behind you.
Yep.
I know all these things.
Oh, it's gone. Oh,
Where'd it go? It's like Silent Hill. It's like walking around trying to stab you in the night.
oh. What's that? Annabelle, the movie
Yeah.
or whatever. So this was his thing. He says, Jerk Yorkie, As someone raised around animals of many kinds, indoor and out, I can attest to them being both sentient, high intelligent, and believe they do indeed have souls through research and experience. Because they cannot speak and we do not take time to understand their language, that is not understand their language that is not at a lower level importance, or them being God's loved creation to be highly valued. I could go on and talk. I could go on to talk about. I can't read. I could go on to talk about how animals were created for our use, not abuse. Factory farming, and how the most interaction most Americans have with these animals are as a piece of meat on their plate. They would have small ideologies. The lack of education is purposeful by the meat industry and lobbyists. I work with the Factory Farming Coalition that comes into schools to educate students on where their food comes from and the ethics of it. 100% of my students didn't know what they learned. Anyhow, my challenge is to you, Joe. Joe meaning me. My challenge is to you, Joe.
Not Joe meaning me.
Correct. Me.
Uh-huh.
My challenge is to you, Joe, is to form a bond with an animal where you're dependent on it for something. Safety, friendship, even food. And see if it doesn't open your eyes on how much we have to learn from animals and that they are far from more than rudimentary creatures. I prefer them to most people because of their lessons on peace, loyalty, and hard work. And for those of you reading who are also uneducated, so he's saying I'm uneducated because he's believing that I'm reading this.
Mm-hmm.
So as for those of you reading this who are also uneducated that want to hit the laugh emoji, shame on you. So I went back and I said, William Thatcher, I agree with you 99%. I am a huge animal lover. I just don't think they have this giant range of emotion and or have thoughts in their heads like humans do or as Disney likes to project. William came back and said, not Disney, but they certainly do. We just don't take time to understand how they express them.
Yeah.
And I said, that's where you lose me. But I agree with all the other stuff. And he said, that's why I gave you a challenge. And so then I went on to write another big thing back. And I said, William, I don't need to be challenged. I love animals. I love my dog. My dog is great. He's probably the 9th dog I've had in my life. I got chow mein. My niece has guinea pigs up here that I don't really hang out with, but I enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
I love the deer on the Ortonville property, the turkeys out there. I love animals. I love nature. I love all that stuff. I am down with, we just talked about getting halves of cows and hogs. I enjoy to be able to get my meat locally and not from some big factory nasty place. I find it absolutely disgusting when you buy chicken at the grocery store and the bones of the chicken are purple because that means that the chicken was raised too quickly. Like
oh, really?
Yeah, so like if you buy like chicken wings, you mainly see it in chicken wings. So if you buy like chicken wings at the store to cook them yourself, a lot of times the bones on the inside, so you'll eat the meat and then the bone is like purple. And that's because the chicken grew too quick for market, in these factories. I think that disgusts me. Like that kind of stuff disgusts me. So I'm with him. I just don't think that like I'm looking at Grim right now, and he's laying in his bed. He's got his tongue sticking out. And I know for a fact that he feels safe, that he feels secure, that he knows he's loved, and that he's just tired. He's kind of snoring. But I just don't think that like he's sitting there. I just don't think he's got like, he's not doing math and like plotting how, he could do all this stuff. Like, I just don't, he's a dog. He does dog stuff. Like, that's it.
But like,
But I
I
don't
think-
hate animals.
yeah. So it's not that. I think it's like the whole discussion that we had was whether or not like it is a. I keep going back to the concept of a soul, like whether or not that is a being, it has a soul, or it's just like chemical signals working off each other. And I don't think anybody that has a dog or cat thinks that. I don't think you think this is just like, this is just a chemical reaction. This is just a pre-programmed reaction that this has to stimulus. I mean, definitely a lot of what animals do is that. What we do, a lot of what we do is just that. But there's something else. And that's the thing. I think that like we're at this point in human society where we don't have to murder everything to protect ourselves or to eat it. And we can start being like more just sentient of does this thing think? Like, does it have feelings? Is it able to have affection and love? Can it communicate? And so that's what I was trying to say is like, I think there's enough evidence to say, yes, there is. And I think we should explore that because I think it's really cool.
And I agree with that. I agree with the absolute baseline of that animals and stuff like that have emotion, have feelings. You know, hey, you get the favorite toy out, the dog gets happy, stuff like that. You know, if you have two dogs and one passes away for like a little while, it seems like the other dog is like mourning the loss. Like,
Yeah.
where'd the other dog go?
Seems like it. Like, come on, dude. You know this is
What?
happening. Like, it's real.
That's what I just said.
Dogs, it's not just seems like. They have feelings.
Okay, so I said seems like. So it appears that they, I don't know, what do you want me to say? What I don't understand what I said wrong.
It appears like, I mean, like, do you talk about humans like that? It appears like that guy is not just it's not just a sequence of
Well,
pre-programmed.
because I know that.
Right.
Right. I don't understand what I just did. I don't understand what I just did to upset you.
No, you just are like, it seems like that dog is sad about the other dog instead of, I mean, it's obvious that dog has feelings that like, it's easy to be like, yeah, that dog is not really processing what has happened like on the same level as we are.
Correct.
But it
so
is
that's what I'm
feeling
saying. Like it seems as though it misses the other dog. Like from me looking at it, that's what it appears. I don't.
Uh-huh.
But like I don't think that like dogs like wake up and like, oh man, I miss my mom. And you know what? I was thinking if I could get to the park today, like you know how like Disney, I keep saying that, like how Disney will take an animal and give it completely like a human inside.
Not
So,
really.
So like
There's still animals in Disney movies. They're just like a little bit more anthropomorphized than normal animals.
So like I don't think Grim like wakes up and like, man, I really wish I could go to the park today, but I can't. So where'd I put that bone? Oh, I think the other day I was playing with it over here. And but like, I don't think they're going through all of that. I don't believe that like a dog or a cat is thinking like, man, I remember like 4 years ago when I went to the park, like, you know, or I wish Joe would get me a new ball.
So,
Like,
but think about like
think
how
that.
you process things if you didn't have language, though. You would just be like, that person that was here isn't here. You would just think of the absence of that person or the thing you liked, the ball, or the, you know, like the going to the park. I feel like they function at that level. I feel like they are like, this, I like that ball. I like this person that feeds me and pets me.
Right.
I like
but
the
that
warmth
is
of that person.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's what I believe they have. They have that basic, I pick the
Mhm.
ball up. I've already said this. I pick the ball up. It's their favorite ball. They like to play with it. But it's because the ball is there. Like, I don't think
Mhm.
he's thinking of the toy that he had 4 years ago that broke all of his teeth.
I don't know. Is he?
I don't think he does. No. So like
I
that's where I think that's where I don't think animals go to that. I don't think they go back to like these past far memories or can like put stuff together to be like if he's laying in bed right now and he's thinking like, oh man, tomorrow I hope dad takes me to the park and we can do this and we can do this and we can do this. I just think he's like, I'm tired. I'm sleeping right now. And he
sure.
enjoys that sleep and that what he loves lately is when the room gets super cold with the air conditioning, I tuck him in with the little blanket. So I do the little burrito wrap to him and he loves that. And I
Mhm.
know he loves that because of the way that he responds to that.
But he probably thinks about it without the language to describe it. Like he probably thinks about it as like there's still some hope in that feeling or that image. And my point is that not just dogs and cats, but I think mammals and
Worms.
birds. No, I think mammals and birds have souls. I think that they they can like we are like them in this way. And we should protect that. Like we should be more aware of that and we should try and work to understand that more
Now
than just like
what about reptiles and bugs like you? How come only birds and mammals?
I'm just not convinced that there's anything in there besides just responding to stimulus. Maybe. I mean, I've never had a snake or a lizard, but it seems to me like they're just trying to do what is programmed in there. Which, by the way, we are too. We just kind of have like another level above that where we're like, yeah, I'm probably not. I'm probably not going to eat that. It'll be bad for me. You know, like we have a little bit more, but we're still operating on
The
on
numblin. The numblins.
the numblets. We
We
still are. We're still animals. We still are like, I need to get as much sugar as I can, as much fat as I can, and I need to procreate. Like, we're still on that level all the time. Most of what we're doing is that us competing for the attention of women, us competing against each other, us trying to get more sugar and fats into our bodies all the time. That's what we're doing. But like we are also able to intellectualize that and think around it. We're able to be like, you know, the fats taste better if you grill it this way and you get this cow.
Yeah. Or
The sugars are better if we get it
hog.
in the way of rum.
Yeah.
Because it helps you talk to more women. We think that way.
Oh.
Yeah. We're
All
still
right.
animals.
Well, right. But now I feel like we're gonna have people coming at us because birds and mammals, and now how come a worm? Now
Well,
I think the tables have turned.
because I don't think worms have souls. I'll
They're
have that
just
talk with somebody.
they're just soulless. They're just soulless little
Tubes that eat and
yeah.
have 5 hearts. They
Yeah.
eat dirt, have 5 hearts. They do experience pain, but it's stimulus.
I don't know about this picking and choosing stuff.
They don't have brains. They have a neural net.
But who's to say? Who's to say that little worm's not thinking about what he was worming about yesterday?
I don't think there's
The
enough
compost. He
room
went
in
from
there for an
compost to
operating
clay.
system.
And he was like, man, I need to get me back to that compost.
Mm-hmm.
And same with like an iguana
Mm-hmm.
or a turtle. Wait, is a turtle? A turtle's a reptile, right?
A turtle is a reptile.
Yeah. Like what about a turtle, man?
Mm-hmm.
There's just nothing going on up there?
I don't know.
Just wiring?
That is my thought. That like the behavior that we ascribe to turtles is just them like trying to look for food or escape from us.
Because we can't like teach a snake to like step on a pedal and then get like a biscuit.
Yeah. I don't think they can train snakes. But not that that's evidence of what I'm saying is having a soul or even like having a higher mental function.
Well, it lends itself to that.
Yeah.
It lends itself to that if you can't train an animal to.
Yeah. I just think you can measure that in like how big is your brain? Like like cephalopods, octopus, and squids, they're highly intelligent. Octopus, they think, communicate to each other through changing colors. That's mind-boggling. They can solve really complex puzzles. They think they're smarter than like most dogs.
What about the old cuttlefish?
I don't know about cuttlefish.
Oh,
those are also cephalopods, though.
Yeah, and they can change color like freaking ridiculous. Watch like a 30-second YouTube video on cuttlefish.
Just watch it right now.
They're like the predator. They can like do all sorts of like color. They can go clear. I believe they can go clear like the predator, man. They're pretty cool. But it's weird that like cuttlefish, I watch videos of them and they're like the coolest fish in the sea.
They're not fish.
What's that?
They're mollusks.
And then we eat them. We eat them like with sushi. Like cuttlefish is like a regular thing to eat.
Yeah. Well, that's my point
Sashimi.
last week is we should maybe rethink this. Should we be eating pigs? Should we be eating dogs? Should we be eating cows?
I definitely think
chickens for sure. They're dumb. Like they need to be
think we can eat animals. And I don't think there's anything wrong with eating animals. But I think there's a big issue with overdoing it. Like it makes me angry. Like I enjoy watching like cooking shows and travel shows and stuff like that. And it makes me angry. Like those like wet markets in like Asia and stuff.
Yeah.
Where there's tons of like creatures that are like still living in like a bucket that's full of water. And you know that that's not lasting the day. So if they don't sell those 80 cuttlefish that are in that dirty tank, let's say they sell 4 cuttlefish, like what are you doing with the other 96? Like that's what drives me nuts. And I know we could probably make fun of all sorts of like foreign countries and third world countries for their markets and stuff like that. But I mean, even us, like you go to a supermarket, and just all the meat, all the chicken, all the frozen proteins and stuff like that, like that drives me nuts. I'm the type of guy that I shop every day.
Yeah.
Every single day, I stop at the grocery store on the way home and I get the ingredients for what I'm making that day. So for me, like, I don't need to like go and buy, 60 pounds of chicken from Tyson. And then whenever I want to use it, like, you know what I mean? Where you're buying that factory chicken. I would rather do like I did, buy an eighth of a cow or a half a hog. That was one animal. I have all the meat from that one animal and then use that when I need it. I like that a little bit better than seeing just all the proteins in a supermarket. I also, like I said, I also just like coming home and it was like, okay, I want steak or chicken. I go and I buy the couple of chicken breasts or I don't eat the breasts, I eat thighs. But just get the thighs. I hate the like overdoing it.
Yeah.
Hate it.
I'm with
Fishing,
you on that.
All of that.
I think like the factory farming
and commercial fishing just pisses me off.
Yeah. Whereas I think like most fish, they could just grow on farms and people would be happy eating that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But they go out in like the deep water and they're just nonstop pulling up nets and catching dolphins and catching whales and catching, whatever. That absolutely drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Do you
I'm
put
with you.
do you put fish in that reptile and bug?
No.
Well, of course. Well, you'd have to because you said mammals and birds.
Fish are not mammals or birds.
I know that's what I'm saying. So, do you think fish have souls?
No.
Okay, so that's what I thought you were saying.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
But a dolphin
I'm-
is a mammal,
Yes.
so that's different. What
They
about a
have
shark?
souls. Sharks are cartilaginous fish.
Yeah. Do you think they know what's going on?
No.
What
I think they're just
about-
swimming around. They're just like killing machines that swim around and respond to stimulus.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. We should change this. This show has become the paid portion is music, and this is science.
This is just us talking about like,
We're
Yeah.
scientists, Reese.
is there a soul plus science?
And then a bunch of our really, really, really smart fans.
And about
I think
what?
between you and our fans, I think I've been called uneducated 3 times this year.
Jeez, dude. I did not call you uneducated.
I think between you and our fans,
You're brilliant.
I've been called uneducated 3 times.
I did not call you uneducated.
Yeah. So, I think we're about the end, right? We're at the
We are?
50-minute mark. We got 10 minutes. We got 10
Well,
minutes.
do you want
to
to talk about this other stuff you wrote up here?
Episode.
Episode 97.28. Did you listen to it?
I did.
So that
I-
whole episode we did about Mackinac Island,
Yeah.
your part didn't come down, right?
Oh, is
Did
that
you know
what that
about this?
was?
Yeah. And so Kevin Brennan, who's hooking you up with the chicken rub, he and his homeboy and his son, who's known as the Coog, they made their own podcast.
And
Just
it was
taking the clips.
absolutely freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's
From
them
the-
talking about Mackinac Island.
Yeah, from the backlash of our listeners not liking my commentary, that you should do that every week. Like every week, me and you sit down and talk, and then just drop my audio, and then
No,
just
you're
do.
the talent here. I'm just the guy that
I'm
goes
the
like, yeah.
buzzsaw.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that,
Oh.
in all honesty, I texted him, I messaged him. That was so creative
yeah, it
and
really was.
so fantastic. I obviously, because we do this show, like I will listen to it because I want to get better and I want to hear if I'm saying like a lot and try and, just try and critique my own performance. And I don't laugh a whole lot when I listen to us. We've talked about it, we've moved on. So there's not a whole lot that we say where I like start laughing. I was laughing like out loud at how good that was. Like the first 5 minutes, I was dying. Like I thought that was so creative and so cool. And even though I'm nowhere in that thing, I thought it was really like I'm going to sound really corny, but I felt really special that somebody took the time to use our program and do something so creative with our thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to minimize them and call it fan art. Like that seems to me that kind of has like a negative connotation to it. But in that sense where it's like people that are a part of this crazy little community that we did, like took our work, and even though, I like I said, because of whatever case may be, I'm not on it. the audio wasn't there, that they were able to create this like so cool thing. I thought it was great.
I agree. Very cool. It was very cool.
My head was
Love
getting
it.
hot. I had to take off my rug.
Oh, geez, Joe.
Whew. Phew. What's this thing, Flamey Grant?
Oh, man. So there was like all this uproar last week. There is a guy was a worship leader in his church, and he started doing drag. So I'm not sure at what point this switched over to making music as this drag character that he is sometimes, but this drag character she's called Flamey Grant, and he put out music in it, and it went to like the top of the Apple Music Christian charts. And it's actually, I mean, it's not my thing, it's kind of country, but it's pretty good. And I love, I don't know. I mean, you have to check it out on YouTube, but I love two things about it. I love that it's like pushing against like this thing in the church where we're not inclusive, or like it's all about being good. All this bullshit that I think the church has glommed onto for 2,000 years, where it's just like, hey, we're going to take this one verse from 1 Corinthians where Paul was like, just had no idea that it was going to be used as scripture, just writing a letter to the church, and used it as like, thou shalt not, like women can't speak in church, or men should not have long hair, or, like all these things that the church picked up on and have just been wicked about. For instance, like this, like, this guy dresses in drag, which is, I don't know. I mean, like, I realize for some people it's like, maybe identifying as a different gender, but I think for the most part, drag itself seems to be kind of like a alternate persona, like a costume, or like it's like a show, because not very many women dress like that. It's like, drag queens are, it's like their own thing. And this dude is doing that and kind of pushing the envelope of what is accepted. And there's so many really conservative Christians that are just like losing their shit over it. And I love that. You should check it out. It's cool.
Okay.
And then like, Flamey Grant does a song with Derek Webb from Caedmon's Call, where they're both in drag. The whole point is like, the whole video is Derek Webb becoming a drag queen.
Oh, nice.
Which I don't know. I don't know if he's into that or what, but like, I just feel like it's something that the church needs to talk about. Not just this whole thing that I think the church needs to throw out, which is the idea that the gospel is about being good. Because I do not think that was the message of Christ. I think that like when people, like the rich young ruler came to him and he was like, hey, what do I have to do to get into heaven? And Jesus just pulled his mail, like he was like, well, what have you done? Like, what are the commandments have you followed? And he's like, I followed them all. He's like, well, there's one more. And he knew the one the guy wouldn't give up, which was to sell all his stuff and give it to the poor. And then says it is easier for, like for a camel to pass through an eye of a needle than a rich man to enter heaven. And I think like the context of that whole thing is just him saying like, this guy was trying to go about his salvation, or or to know God by following all the rules, except the one thing he wouldn't give up. And Jesus never does that to anyone else. Like he's never like, here's a laundry list of how to gain my affection or how to get into heaven. He just says, love God and love others. Those are the most important things. And then, like I think Paul definitely through most of his epistles is trying to explain like how that meshes with Levitical law, like how that lines up with Hebrew law. So it's like Paul's just like, look, even if you make up your own rules, you're going to fail. That's the beginning of Romans. Even if you're just like step on a crack, break your mother's back, you're going to step on some cracks. You're going to break your mom's back. You're going to mess up. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. You all need this. No matter what your rules are, you need God. You need mercy. You need grace. And not that you have to follow this list of good, be good, keep trying to be good, keep trying to be good, be better, and then God will finally accept you. It's that like once you realize that you are a sinner, that you have messed up, then where do you go with that? Like once you realize that you are not good enough to, like, just mathematically you have failed. So God can't communicate with you unless this thing happened. And once you accept that, you can communicate with God. You can be there with him. He accepts you as his son. That's, I think, the beauty of the gospel. And I think that like the church tends to take, like these writings of Paul out of context. Like we're going to treat this just like we did the 10 Commandments or Levitical law, which they're definitely not following. Like the church is definitely not following the false idols thing. We talked about having flags on the stage at every church in America. Like that's an idol. You can't, like you cannot believe in God and not be an idolater because you cannot understand infinity. You cannot understand God. So like, I love that Paul is just like, hey, this is not the point. We've all failed. No matter what your picture of God is, you failed. What matters is that Christ loves you, that he is merciful, and that this grace of him being perfect in your place is what will save you. You're getting tired, Joe. Looking at
No, I'm
me.
just listening to you. I'm just sitting here listening.
I just don't. I mean, I feel like so much of the church, and I feel like just the business of the church, whether it's just instinctive or because it's worked or because it feels comfortable or because people are manipulative. So much of the 2,000 years of the church has been trying to build this machine of telling people how to be good, telling people how to get right with God, to be accepted, when that's not the gospel. The gospel is God loved you when you were a sinner. He loves you now and you are a sinner. The gospel is that that Jesus was he fulfilled all that Levitical law and all that Mosaic law so that you don't have to do that. All you have to do is believe that. And because of that love, you will love God because you have been loved, because you have that love, because that will fill you and you will love other people. You fulfill all the commandments just in that, just in loving God and loving others. So the idea that like these verses in 1 Corinthians where Paul was like trying to put out all these fires in that church, I don't think that's the way to interpret the Bible, where he's like, hey, women shouldn't talk in church. He was talking to specific women in that church that kept shouting over their husbands when they were talking. And he was like, hey, let's just go back to these old rules like we used to have in the temple. Just let the guys talk because this is confusing. Not like this is a commandment, and not like because in that society in Corinth, there was a lot of cross dressing, and he wasn't saying like this is a sin. He was like, it's confusing in the church. You guys are getting in all these fights. Stop doing this. There was a guy who was sleeping with his stepmother, and he was like, you got to talk to that guy because this is causing division in the church. And we, I think as a church, just have like created this machine where it's like telling people how to be good, and that gets factored into it. And I think a lot of that is them talking about sexual orientation and homosexuality and women's roles in the church. And I don't think that stuff belongs in there. Plus, personally, I don't feel like that is the point of community, is to tell people how to be good enough to be accepted by God. Here you go.
Reese
That's all. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Reese Roper, we have brought this to an end.
Sorry, I soapboxed, dude.
I just like when you start.
I know.
on-
I start and you can't talk. I'm so sorry.
No.
dude.
And here's the cards on the table with me. Is I let you go because your perception is your reality, and it's not
Yeah.
like anything you're saying is wrong. It's just the thing that always pops into my head is like, what churches have you attended that gives you this? We've talked about it before. That gives you like this aggression, or maybe that's not the right word, but this fervor to just go back at the church because
Yeah.
about about all this stuff. Like we've talked about the flags, we've talked about all these things, and I just don't see it like in my church. And I would say over the past decade, I've attended 3 different churches, one being my main church, but I had to go to 2 others when my work schedule didn't allow me to go to my normal church.
Mhm.
My normal church, one Sunday is preached by a female pastor, the next by a male pastor, and they
Okay.
rotate back and forth. Politics aren't talked about from the pulpit. Do we have an American flag, and do we have like I go to the Salvation Army, so we have like an American flag, and then there's like a Salvation Army flag.
Mhm.
And like at no time is politics talked about from the pulpit. Basically what you just said is what is preached from our pulpit. Like our pulpit is like the sermons that come down are just, absolutely love. Like it's never the churches that I attend up here. And you know what? Maybe by the roll of the dice, I've found the 3 churches that tick the boxes. But like in 2023, I'm not attending churches where people are preaching about you have to be good in order to do this. It's quite the opposite. Whether it's my church or like I said, the other 2 that I've attended over the past decade, it's we all suck. Like
Yeah.
we all suck in this grace and this mercy that isn't earned, that's freely given to anybody, whether you're wearing a dress, whether you're a dude who likes a dude, whatever the case may be, that is out there for anybody, and it's free. And then once you accept Christ, and that is who you want to be, and that is who you want to follow. Mind you, the Bible has once you've accepted that, Christ into your heart, I would think that you would want to start becoming a better person in personal areas of your life. And when I say that, I mean like even if you're even if you're hetero, even if you're straight, if you come to know Christ, I would hope that within your heart, you're telling your brain like not to sleep with, 10 women a month,
Mhm.
like just normal things like you're doing cocaine. So now that I've accepted Christ, I want to treat my temple maybe a little bit better. I want to, cut back on like abusing my body or, just different things like that. So I think that the churches that I go to, I think sometimes when you lock in and you go, and you start flowing on a
Yeah.
subject, I
You
I
because the
I am
Salvation
not
Army is from that. Like
I am
the
not
Salvation Army
familiar
came
with
from the streets. Like it was William Booth was hell like he was like hell bent on like we've got to save these orphans and end poverty. Like
right.
it's a it's a good church.
But it's a good church, and what William Booth started has been watered down by all those who have taken over the captaincy, or as they call it, the general, uh who's taken over like the head. You still have individual pastors preaching, and our pastors get moved about every 5 years. So you have a
Mhm.
pastor for 5 years and then they get transferred and a new one comes in. And but it's whether it's a Salvation Army or the other two, like I went to another church called Woodside, and and then just recently, um, I've gone to another one called Bridge something, out in Ortonville. But again, like none of them are like I think when I hear you talk, I think like, all right, he's talking about churches in like the 18th century, you know? And so to think that what you're talking about now is what you've experienced lately
Yeah.
in 2023, I don't see it. I don't
I think
see it.
most
I
people
don't
have
hear it.
experienced this. I think
I,
this is why church attendance is in such a strong decline because I feel like people people feel that the church is the lesser of the moral choices. Like when morality is like the morality of Christ is better portrayed by the actions of non-Christians than Christians, I think people start to doubt it. Like when the Katrina happened and well, not Katrina, what was the one in Houston? There was a hurricane down there, and Joel Osteen, they're just showing like his palatial mansion and that just how like how gregarious, like how just ostentatious his church was, and that they wouldn't open it up for refugees or anything. And you're like,
yeah,
who
but
is?
so like
I
for
get it. The
me,
Salvation Army is. You
but for
guys do it.
me, I don't look at Joel Olstein and say, well, he's Christians. You know what I
Most
mean?
of the
Like
non Christians I do know. They
he's
see that.
one
Like
guy.
they hear Pat Robertson talking shit about like some dam breaking in Pennsylvania and him being like, well, it's because we allow homosexuals. And you're like, because you see that, and then you see drag queens who are like have a program to go in drag to read books to kids in inner city schools, and you're like, that right there, like how cool is that? It's like,
Somebody in
ha-
drag reading a book to a kid is
yeah, I
a
want
great
that.
thing.
I want that for my kids.
Okay.
I want them to see it. Like, how cool is that? Drag queens are amazing. I think they're like it's this own culture. It's like a persona. It's like a show. Somebody is somebody is getting to be somebody that they feel like they are inside. They get to put on all this makeup and dresses and stuff and just be this kind of showy, ostentatious, loud lady. And that's entertaining to me. It is so cool. And I think it's so cool for those, those folk in drag to feel accepted and loved, and like to go to schools and read books to kids in drag, like as this character. So cool.
Okay.
But I think the church, for the most part, like kind of acts like that somehow, that somehow is going back again to dispensationalism. I feel like so much of the evangelical church feels like the existence of that stuff is what's corrupting our country, and God will destroy us again. Instead of like, this is a kind gesture. This person is doing something good for children. Why don't you do that? If you think that's the threat to you, like, the threat is they're looking more like Jesus than you are. And when the rest of the world looks at your church, they see that you're a bunch of hypocrites. That's the thing. Not the Salvation Army, Joe, but most of the other churches.
No, I mean, I don't stake my claim in the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army has what they call the Articles of War. That if you're a church member, you promise to not drink, to not gamble, to not. There's this whole list of stuff that's just nonsensical, man-made dogma. So like there's a ton of the Salvation Army that like I don't adhere to, but as far as the message coming off the stage by even those that are members is, the gospel by which you have said this is what they should be preaching. That's what I hear, whether it's at Salvation Army, whether that's a Woodside or Bridgeport or whatever the Bridge churches out in Ortonville that I've attended. I mean, the other stuff I can't speak to. Yeah. I'm not going to say somebody reading a book to a kid is doing more, is more like Jesus than what churches are doing.
I think it's more than
Like,
Jesus than just telling that person they're a sinner and they're going to hell. Like that to me is the most, like, the less moral action. Reading a book to kids is a moral good. And then just standing on, like getting on the internet or whatever, getting on TV and being like, those people are damned. That's not the character of Christ.
I wouldn't say anybody's standing up saying anybody is damned, because we all know that we're all sinners.
Go
right?
on the internet. Go check out the YouTube.
But you can find anything on the internet. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
when I say you can find anything on the internet, I mean, like, you can always find something to like back what you're saying, or if you're looking for hate, you can.
No, but I
find
mean,
it.
like, check the message board. Check the message thread after the Flamey Grant videos. Just see what the Christians are saying versus what the non-Christians are saying. Like, what the Christians, the so-called Christians, are just like condemning, angry.
I mean, I
saying
guess what
that
I do
person's
is
going to hell.
I guess what I do is I don't go to the internet. I don't go to the internet for my well. I go to the people around me. I go to my church. I look from left to right in my pew, and those that are around me and who I play pickleball with outside of church, and who I attend high school graduations with, and those things. And the people in my church that I sit by are the people who I would stand shoulder to shoulder with anybody who would fall down on their knees and pray with a drag queen, and you know what I mean? Like accept people. I don't see and I don't hear, because I guess I'm not on the message boards. And I'm not saying this like in a slight to you. I don't want you to take this way.
That's all right, man.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't live in a message board world. I live in those that are sitting around me that I can shake their hand and hug them on a Sunday, or throughout the week and stuff like that. And I don't hear that coming from them. So that is my church.
Yeah.
So that is the church that I know. So when I hear the church today says this, I think my circle is not that at all.
That's cool, Joe.
And I don't, and I pray that I'm not, that Royal Oak isn't an enigma as far as Christianity goes. I would hope there's the same exact thing going on in cities all across the country. Are there bad apples? Yeah, there's bad apples and everything. You know, in every group, there's bad people that just don't show, that are hypocrites and all that stuff. But I just don't think it's the majority. And unfortunately, the fervor by which you are a warrior for is that it is, and that the majority of church and Christians are just, you know, just garbage.
I don't think that, but I think the majority of organized Christianity, especially in the United States, is. And that bothers me. I guess that's why I get so incensed about it.
I mean, I guess it would bother me if I came down to if I came and stayed with you for a month and we went to all these churches around your neighborhood and that's what I was hearing, I'd be like, holy cow, you're right. Like,
Yeah.
you're West Virginia. You're in West Virginia, right?
Virginia.
Virginia. I'd be like,
I
man,
pronounce it vagina.
your Virginia churches are messed up. No wonder you think this way. No wonder that's what you have to go off of. I would be fascinated to go into the churches and hear that, because that, again, that's just not what I hear. You know what I mean? And this is a stupid analogy, absolutely stupid analogy. But if it's like you were always talking crap about like McDonald's tacos and McDonald's pizza, McDonald's doesn't sell tacos and pizza up by me. So I'm completely baffled as to what you're getting. And so that's my Yerkeism with, like, in Virginia, if the churches are as bad as you make them out to be, yeah, I don't think I would want to be a part of Christians in Virginia or Christians in your circle seem horrible.
I don't even say, it's not even just that. It's like being in Fiverr and being in the Christian industry in what ends up being most of evangelical culture. Like, you would see that. We'd play at those churches, feel dirty, play at those conventions, play at those festivals, all that stuff. You got it. You got it at Creation, man. Like with DC Talk, and you couldn't go backstage. And
Well, yeah, but like I guess I separate the business from Christ. Like, I don't look at DC Talk being a bunch of like morons as like like, I don't take that out on God. Like, I
I'm
don't
not
take
taking it out on God.
like I
I'm
don't take
taking it
Joel
out on.
like I don't take Joel Osteen out on God or on Christians or the church. Like, he's an idiot. Like, I don't believe in prosperity gospel. DC Talk, don't like their music. The one guy in DC Talk, the other two guys I'm cool with. The one guy in DC Talk, absolute moron. I don't even blame the rest of DC Talk, let alone Christians in general, or that. You know, and when you talk about Creation, like we talked about it before, was it this mega money-making thing? Absolutely it was. Was it something that seemed like Jesus was prostituted? Absolutely it did. But I would have to think at the beginning it didn't start that way. You know, like at the beginning, I would think it was probably done by a guy who's like, man, it'd be cool to get all these bands that we love to listen to in the same area. And then it gets bigger and bigger and money's involved and this and this and this. And then it just becomes this giant machine. But at the same time, again, we've talked about this in the past where me and you can be bitter about the band end of it and the what's on stage going out towards the people. And I'm sure there's people listening to this that went to Creation that are no longer Christians. I know we have tons of listeners that are no longer Christians and and probably think the way we do when we talk about the moneymaker. But there's also people that listen to this podcast that was the way that they got their bands. That was the way that they went, and they were able to listen to bands like Five Iron and Insiders and DC Talk and whoever, and they had a great time. And
Yeah.
they took friends, and their friends' hearts were changed forever, and they came to know Christ through those types of events. So we got to peek behind the curtain, and the word of the Lord never goes out void, never comes back void. And so I feel like we know the sliminess that may have happened behind festival doors and things like that, but
Mm-hmm.
and even by bands themselves, that are just slimy and still in it for the money and whatever the case may be. But I don't know. I think it's that person's heart. And I think if creation was put on, like I said, when it started, it was put on for a reason. And we even have listeners, we get messages every month. We get messages, weekly, saying we have a new listener, and they say how much like Five Iron, helped them through something, or how much the Insiders, helped them through something. And I don't know. So that's what I think. Like, I don't look at Kevin Max and put Christianity on him or Joel Osteen. I take the
I don't
word by
either.
which
No, that's
what I
not my
know.
point. I'm not saying I do. I just think I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people see the church as that, and I think that's because it's just become this machine of like telling people to be good all the time. I
Yeah,
think
and
it
that
sells
and
sells seats in
yeah,
the
and
church.
that's what I'm not. And that right there is the McDonald's taco thing. Like, I don't,
Mhm.
I don't see that at my church. I don't see this like selling being good. The churches the three that I've attended in the last decade, it's not, they're not selling good. They're selling, if you're broken, and if you have a hole inside you that you've tried everything else, that whole, that the cliche stuff that we, that we heard in youth group growing up. If you have that hole that you've tried to fill with everything in your life,
Mhm.
and Christ is here, and we don't have to be perfect to come to Christ. We don't have to be perfect the day after we accept Christ. We don't have
Mhm.
to be perfect 5 years after we've accepted Christ. There's no, you have to be. But I would think that if somebody accepts Christ as they walk down the path, whether that's over a week, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, I would hope that their hearts would continue to change to be more like Christ, more like Christ. And as you change to be more like Christ, I think you do stop with some of the idiocy in your life, and some of the damaging to yourself, and you start thinking about leaving a legacy, and you know just that kind of stuff. I'm not familiar with this. You have to be good at church. I'm not familiar with this concept.
All right. It exists.
Oh, I'm sure it
Believe me.
exists. I just hope it doesn't. I hope it's not the majority. I'm a guy.
I
I
hope so too, Joe.
I I tend to think everything is a bell curve.
Yeah. I just think
And
the
you have
perception
these,
of Christianity is that is the majority.
I just hope, because most statistics in life show everything on a bell curve. You have like the 10%, the 80%, and the 10%. And you have your 10% of people that are the most Christ-like, amazing people ever. You have the 80% in the middle that just kind of fluctuate a little bit back and forth, and they're just trying to hold it together. And then you got the other 10% that I think are the people that you're talking about. I would like to think it's 10% of the
I
people
hope
that
you're
you're
right.
talking about, but
Yeah.
they're the mouthy, loud 10% that are keyboard warriors that do stuff on the internet. So I just think God is too good and too amazing and too perfect to have the majority of his follow, because I'm nobody special. Shoot, I've been told 3 times in the last year that I'm uneducated by our listeners and by you.
Apparently by me.
Yeah,
Which
by
is
you,
not true.
by you and listeners. So
Joe.
by your guys' own admission, I don't appear to be too smart of a fella.
Joe, I will punch you in the penis.
No, but listen to me. So I don't appear to be too smart of a fella by you or some listeners. And I think the concept of Christ is so easy. You don't have to be like a scholar. And so that's why I think if I am getting the message, I believe others are exactly like me. And there can't, like, Christianity today cannot be people still thinking. Now, mind you, I know there are. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the majority that you like. If you go into 10 churches, I can't imagine that 8 churches are preaching, you got to be good, you got to be good, you got to be good. Like,
Okay.
I hope that that's not true, because again, I'm not a smart guy, and I've realized that that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm anything special. I'm not a biblical scholar. You've never heard me quote scripture on this show, because I don't know it. I can't quote scripture. I know what I read. I know what I feel. I know what I'm taught, but I'm absolutely terrible at memorizing scripture. And so I don't quote it on this show, because I'll misquote it. I get nervous when I try and quote scripture and stuff like that, because I know I'm going to screw it up or flip it around or something like that. So if I'm this terrible, but I grasp the concept of who Christ is and what grace and mercy and that stuff is, I would hope I'm not in the minority.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
All right, dude. This is the longest podcast ever.
Yeah.
Let's go to sleep
All right, cool.
with each other.
All right, cool. I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll be
See
there
you in a
in
minute.
8 hours.
We're going to cuddle.
All right. See you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully this fired you up and made you think I am 1000% Team Reese.
Or I am 1000% Team Joe. There will be a survey online.
Nobody says that. No,
Come on,
he
Joe.
says that.
Yes, I do. I'm on your team.
It's not that. All right, you guys. Go to bed. Go to work. Do whatever.
Peas
you
and
do.
pizza.
Go play pickleball.
Oh,
You
go
guys.
play pickleball. Or go put a pickle on your ball.
Yeah.
Is that what? Bye.
Dude.
Okay.